What is a Jesuit reduction? Have you ever wondered how religious missions shaped the lives of indigenous communities in South America? A Jesuit reduction was a unique type of settlement created by Jesuit missionaries during the 17th and 18th centuries. These settlements were primarily established to gather and convert indigenous peoples, especially the Guarani, into Christianity. The Jesuits aimed to protect these communities from enslavement and exploitation by colonial powers and slave traders. In a Jesuit reduction, indigenous people lived together under the guidance of Jesuit priests. The term reduction comes from the Spanish word reducción, which means to bring together. The Jesuits wanted to create self-sufficient Christian societies that combined religious instruction with social, economic, and cultural development. Architecturally, these reductions were remarkable for their planned layout and distinctive structures. They often featured a central plaza surrounded by essential buildings like a church, school, workshops, and communal housing. The churches were often impressive examples of Baroque architecture, adapted to local materials and indigenous artistic influences. These churches served as the spiritual and social heart of the community. Beyond their religious significance, Jesuit reductions functioned as economic units. The indigenous inhabitants worked together on agriculture, crafts, and livestock, sharing the products among themselves. This collective organization allowed the reductions to achieve a high level of autonomy and economic success within the colonial context. One of the most famous examples of a Jesuit reduction is San Ignacio Miní, located in present-day Argentina. This site is recognized as a sacred landmark and pilgrimage destination due to its historical significance and well-preserved ruins. San Ignacio Miní illustrates the fusion of European and indigenous cultures, making it a vital part of South America's holy landmarks. The reductions were also organized for military defense against slave raids, particularly from Portuguese bandeirantes who sought to capture indigenous people for slavery. Despite royal prohibitions, the reductions formed militias armed by the Jesuits to protect their communities. The era of Jesuit reductions came to an end in the late 18th century, when the Jesuit order was suppressed and expelled from Spanish and Portuguese territories. This led to the decline and abandonment of many reductions. However, the ruins of these settlements remain as important cultural and religious landmarks today. They attract pilgrims and historians interested in the legacy of missionary activity, indigenous resilience, and colonial history. In essence, a Jesuit reduction was a distinctive type of missionary settlement that combined Christian evangelization, indigenous communal living, economic cooperation, and architectural expression. These sites serve as both sacred landmarks and historical testimonies of cultural encounters in South America.